Hello, I am here, not in the Netherlands, but a little bit of a fake Netherlands. I'm here in Japan, in a Dutch theme park. The buildings look quite authentic. I would say they did a pretty good job there. And there in the distance you see a massive building built in Dutch architecture, and it genuinely looks quite Dutch. It's a hotel because here we are at a Dutch theme park here in Japan. Here it shows some different food options, none of which looks very Dutch to me so far. No, this is about the hotel and stuff. Already some small Dutch looking buildings. I think they're just service buildings, these. And then you have a massive parking lot, and then here it says Huis Ten Bosch. The weather is kind of shit, like it starts raining and then it's dry again and then it starts raining again. A little bit akin to the Netherlands, I suppose. You have the souvenir shop, so let's take a look at that first. Here we have some cookies that aren't very Dutch. Different cakes, very Japanese actually. Okay, here's some mugs, all from like the local area, and a bunch of matcha and sake and different cheeses. This is Dutch cheese. And then some cheese from France. This is authentically French at least. And then Nijntje, which is very Dutch. That's actually Dutch. Oh, here like a tulip shaped cookie. And more Nijntje. Here some little Delft's Blauw souvenir houses. So that's quite a Dutch souvenir. Nagasaki champion noodles. That's not very Dutch. Group reception. It looks like a pretty big theme park. So I found the ticket office. It says like if you arrive later, it becomes cheaper.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Dankjewel. Oh, they're trying to take a picture with the phone like that. With Nijntje. So here we have a burcht. It's kind of like a castle, but in the Netherlands we don't have like very big castles. They tend to be quite small castles, or kind of like a partly defended house of like some rich noble. That's kind of how it tends to work. And here we have the Ridderbrug, which is like the Knight's Bridge. And this bridge looks very Dutch. Doesn't look very functional. It looks like it's supposed to be able to pull up, but they removed like the ropes. It's mostly decorative, I suppose, but this looks very authentic. Okay, so it says Kasteel Nijenrode, which is like Castle Nijenrode. It looks very authentic on the inside as well. Over there we have the Teddy Bear Kingdom. Let's check that out also. It's probably like silly display here. Here we have two teddy bears dressed up in old-timely clothing, but this isn't very Dutch clothing, or Spanish, I suppose. And the Netherlands used to be part of Spain. Okay, here we have I suppose this is supposed to be a Dutch family. Here you see like old people making teddy bears. That's kind of the point here. Okay, so this is a little bit about Teddy Roosevelt, which isn't very Dutch. And it kind of tells the story how they came to name teddy bears after him. Many different kinds of teddy bears. I wonder if the entire thing is about teddy bears. Here a bunch of different teddy bears. This one a very American Uncle Tom hat. Many teddy bears. Stuff about Theodore Roosevelt. And then a circus dream. I haven't seen anyone here in this part of the building. Apparently they're not too interested in teddy bears, which I kind of understand. Here we've got some funny mirrors. One to make you look really short, and one to make you look like your body is connected to your head, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose the entire castle, if you can call it that, is filled with teddy bears. Here's a really big one. And then over here, there are two carriages. So here we have a shop where you can buy teddy bears, more Nijntje, and more Nijntje, more umbrellas, and more Nijntje. A lot of Nijntje, which I like. Keeping in the Dutch style, with orange, the Prinsenvlag, little trad Nijntje, very based Nijntje. No bicycles allowed here. That's not very Dutch of you, mister. I suppose they're afraid you like fall into the canal. Let's call it a canal since we're here in a Dutch style. And we see another castle over there. It might be more of like a city wall, but I'm not sure. Here we've got a windmill, and it looks like it actually works. It's not an incredibly big one, but it looks pretty functional. Just the way it's designed, kind of looks like everything makes sense. Here we have Blueprint. It's just like some kind of restaurant little thing. Takeout here. And you have some fries, which is a Dutch thing, I suppose. And you have some kind of waffle. Doesn't look very Dutch, but it looks good. So we'll check on that later. It's a pretty expensive place, but because I arrived quite late, that cuts into the price a little bit, so that's good. This one says Museum Molen, which is like museum windmill. And here it has a little explanation, all in Japanese of course, but it's closed right now, so I guess you can't go in. Let's see about that one. And here we have another Nijntje outline. But so far all the flowers I've been seeing have been like sunflowers, which aren't the most Dutch flowers, but I'll take it. I hope we're gonna see some tulips a little later. Here we have another windmill. Yeah, seems like none of them are open at this point. These windmills are generally used to mill grain, but sometimes they're used just to keep the water out of a certain area, like that one over there. Okay, so here they're working on construction of the bridge of this one, but it says Delftse Brug, and Delft is a city in the Netherlands. They have a very good university. Here it says Stadspoort Delft, which makes sense because it looks a lot like a city gate, much more than like a castle. And that's also much more common in the Netherlands than castles. And here we have a really big building, part of which is a little bit neoclassical, but the rest very Dutch. And I'm not sure what it is. Here the canals look really nice. Looks very authentic. Just no one going through them in little boats, but I heard that that's one of the things you can do. And there's a pretty big tower over there. That's cool. We are here in a Dutch theme park, and from my judgment so far, it looks very authentic. The building style and everything. A lot of the stuff that they sell is a little bit less Dutch, but the buildings, the cobbled brick streets, it's quite authentic. A good attention to detail so far. And it's quite big, impressively big. Inside here it looks like they have some kind of horse tournament. So this is Huis Ten Bosch Kakegi Theater. And I suppose there's not much to see now. As I'm here in a Dutch theme park in Japan, I'm going to try to eat the most Dutch food that I can find for dinner. I haven't found very Dutch food yet so far. It's all quite Japanese. Here we have a flower shop. To me, seemingly quite ordinary flowers. We haven't seen the typical tulips yet, but I'm sure we will at some point. Here we see some ice cream and some potato chips and different coffee. Basil chicken. I don't know what those are, but they're not very Dutch. It looks more like an empanada actually. This is the art garden. Looks very hippie. Here we have some trash cans. Kind of a Dutch style. That's funny. That's not how they look in the Netherlands, but it's if you want a town that is trying to look like the Netherlands, then you make them look like that. Do have a lot of access points to the canals, but you don't see anyone going there because they're kind of like a dead end. In the Netherlands, in some shops, they will put chairs out on the canal, or sometimes they have them under on that lower level, especially as there are so many buildings. There's such a large amount of them. I wonder what they're all used for and to what extent they are facades and to what extent you can actually go inside them and they have something in the inside. In the Netherlands it's quite common for people to be able to just look into your windows. But here they're all covered up, and I suspect that a large reason for that is that a lot of them aren't really furnished on the inside or anything of that sort. Maybe not even real buildings on the inside. Here's like fountains and like a big water slide. Again, a place that bikes are not allowed. Apparently you can hire bikes here, and some people seem to do, but most people seem to just walk. This part is covered by some kind of netting with lights, I suppose. Pizza and pasta. Pinocchio. Here we have an Italian restaurant. It is not ridiculously busy for how big of an area it is, and of course you have to pay an entrance fee. There's still quite a number of people, but with how many chairs they stall out, it's not that much. Okay, here we have seafood and seasonal vegetable pelada or something. Here we have the large clock tower. Let's take a look there. The Domtoren. Hello. Can I go? Dankjewel. Doei. I kind of just want to speak Dutch to everyone because I think it's funny. Even though I don't expect a single person to understand me, they already don't understand that much English. And this place is mostly made for Japanese tourists. The English writing is very minor, and the Dutch mostly not even there. I haven't seen it so far. And it's really hot in this elevator, but it looks nice. You get up to the top really fast. Oh, and here it's nicely air conditioned. Oh, you have to pay for this thing and then you can look down. But here you can see what the buildings look like from above, and you can kind of see that these over here, they're kind of like a facade, but like quite well done. So from the front, from any angle it looks real. But the little courtyards in the middle do show that it doesn't have any ornamentation on the inside. but that only goes for some buildings that are in these really large blocks. Like the one over there, I think is quite accurate. I guess in the Netherlands the roofs would generally just kind of extend further, but that doesn't look like a bad way to do it. Over here, that also doesn't look that crazy. So even from above, it looks quite realistic. Especially the smaller buildings are easier to do. You just like finish the roof all the way. Apparently this is an ornament of the Domtoren, and the Domtoren is from Utrecht. Then this is a replica, of course quite authentic on the outside, a bit less authentic on the inside. And over there you see this really colorful street, kind of in the style of Nijntje. And here you have a very Japanese restaurant. Okay, so now let's get into town. Annoying that they have to blast copyrighted music. Oh no, they're singing it themselves, so it should be fine. This building ornamented with very pretty flowers. And here we have Van Goghstraat, which is a famous Dutch painter. Here we have a clothing store. And here we have a flower store. Okay, so this is a house. But then over here we have a store. So the store extends into what's also the front of that, what looks like an ordinary house. They're selling a bunch of fragrances and like women's stuff. Here in the center, it looks much more like a mall. You have like a beautiful sunroof, the Passage, which is like a passageway. And here they sell a bunch of hats. Over here, a display of a lot of old musical instruments, like different music boxes and pianos and clocks and orgels. Not sure what you call these. This one says Venigen and then Holland. It says decoratie, which is decoration in Dutch. J de Boer, 86. So that must mean 1986. This one is not in Dutch. And then here we have another one from the same guy. Also Holland, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. Or let's go upstairs first. So here you feel that on this floor it's not air conditioned. All the hot air rises up, of course, and they only bother to keep the bottom floor proper cold. And a lot of these shops are not being used because, of course, there's less people traffic here. And it's close to kind of like a minor city, but not an extremely major city. They would be able to accommodate more people with all the storefronts they have here, but it doesn't get busy enough to fill them all up and rent them all out, especially as you have to pay entry to get here. I think that if they hadn't done that, it would be a lot easier. So here we have homemade cake from Tante Annie, and that name is very Dutch. But these cakes don't look like anything I've seen before, but let's take a look. Okay, so here we have more cakes, and here we have some very French looking cheese, and here we have some Dutch looking cheese. Ego sabre? Nederlander? No? No? Geen Nederlands? This one? You can try? Or? Yeah, they really don't speak Dutch here. Like, I don't know of this as like being a Dutch thing. I don't know if they just like came up with this random name or what the point of this is. Oh, okay. Okay, so here they have some samples that you can try. And little prickers. This is cheesecake, right? Okay.
#1 cheesecake.
Number one. Okay. Oh, this tastes very familiar. Kaascake. Arigato gozaimasu. Dankjewel. Okay, so this is the other side of the shop. Okay, there's Miffy's Dream Storybook, but in Dutch we call her Nijntje. So I guess that's like the way they translated it to English. I'm not sure. Rubens Marcia? I don't know what that is. Caramel Original Mangetsu. It's also not very Dutch. Okay, so the Nijntje Street is called Rubenstraat, and it says Miffy because I think that's the English version. But here the storefronts are just like blocked out with colors. And I suppose they kind of did that because they couldn't sell all of them or rent all of them, and they kind of wanted to do a little bit of Miffy or whatever. I'm still gonna call her Nijntje. So this whole thing, you can walk through it, and some people are taking pictures, but there's not much to it. And over there you can go inside, and I think these buildings will all go together as like one big gallery or whatever. Here it says Greeting Gallery. Hello, dankjewel. Okay, so here we have Gallery of Art. Let's see. So we have some different triangles, and this is drawn in a very Nijntje style, very simplistic style. I think we have to wait here until we can go in. Okay, so here we have a lot of paintings. a very 90s style. And this is also from a Dutch painter. Very abstract. I've never liked him, but he's from the Netherlands and is quite famous, so. Hey, Nijntje. We have someone in a Nijntje costume. Okay, no, it's video.
Okay.
And this Nijntje is Nijntje. In English it's Miffy, but in Dutch it's Nijntje. Yeah, because rabbit is konijntje. The animal rabbit is konijntje. Oh yeah, I saw this one. It looks tasty, delicious, but it's not the Netherlands. It's different.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the building, everything is very pretty, and it's very similar.
Yeah.
And also here, like the stone, this is different, but like this. In the Netherlands, it's like this everywhere. But the food is not Dutch. It's very different. But in the Netherlands, we also don't like Dutch food. So we also eat food from different countries. And very big.
Yeah, it's very beautiful.
Yes, very beautiful. Oh, and there, that building, they have all the windows boarded up. I don't know why. This one?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Arigato gozaimasu. Yeah.
No problem.
Okay. Daijoubu. In Dutch we say geen probleem. Like no problem.
Geen problem.
Yeah. Okay, so here we have a hamburger restaurant. Here's like the display of what they sell. They also sell like curry rice for if your children don't like hamburgers, I suppose. Okay, so let's just have a burger here, a very Japanese style burger. They give me this beaver thingy. We have the burger. So the egg yolk all coming out. It's a very good burger. Can't complain. Not very Dutch, but I guess not necessarily too different to how they would make them in the Netherlands, but that doesn't make it a Dutch thing, you know. Hello. Okay, so here they have popcorn and hot dogs. We have another Nijntje street with hanging umbrellas. I may need to go to the Netherlands sometime to show people what real Dutch food is like. There's some different things, there's some variety, and there's the stuff they show the tourists. I don't think many people know what Dutch food is really like, because there's a few good things and there's a lot of not so good things. But that's because we're very pragmatic people, and in our history we didn't have that much to cook with, you know. Okay, so here they have a very nice fountain with some statues on it. And the buildings here look quite Dutch, except the windows that are just covered because there's nothing behind them. And that kind of shows you that it isn't completely authentic, because the buildings on the inside, the walls don't completely line up with where they had to place the windows. So some of them they just had to put like wooden shutters in front of them, but then the other ones don't have wooden shutters. And I think they're not even windows. I'm pretty sure they're not even windows. Okay, so here another cafe and a cheese market. Okay, I'll have to take a look at that. Anno 1992. Okay, interesting. Okay, so this is what's said to be the cheese market. Here you have some mock-up cheese, and here you have Iconen Gouda 750. So icons of Gouda cheese. Cultuurhuis, which is like culture house. And it seems like here they're just selling like sandwiches, snacks, soups, ice cream, but they call it gelato. I don't know why. Gelato. Sounds very similar to the Portuguese and the Spanish. And upstairs you can sit as well. Here's some pictures of the food they have here, some of which is very Swiss, like this kind of like Swiss cheese fondue, but a little bit with a Japanese style. And here's some mock-up cheese, but it's kind of just a display, I guess. So I guess it's just like a fondue restaurant. And here it shows kind of the food you can expect. It's like the backside of some of these buildings, which looks quite good. Why even have bicycles if you're not allowed to ride them? It is still open, that's good. I've takeout here, and here you can get into the rest of the restaurant. Okay, so they have these different waffles, but they're not Dutch waffles. They kind of look like waffles though. They have some different curries, which is very Japanese, and here they have some different taarten, like little cakes. And here some cocktails, non-alcoholic cocktails. Dutch Heineken beer, so that's very Dutch beer. I would like one of this one. Okay, so they have here different coffees, iced coffees, and then tea, both hot and iced, and juices. Really the most Dutch thing on here is the Heineken beer, which is very famous worldwide and not too hard to get your hands on. Also, the fries are quite Dutch. I give this one to you. Thank you. So now I wonder, is there any way to get over there? And I'm thinking that probably they're just like vacation stays. Like you can rent them out if you want to stay here. That's what I'm thinking. It's time to try this waffle. This isn't a very Dutch waffle, but it looks good. So I'm not sure what the inside is. It's sweet and it seems like it's kind of mixed with jam. It's some sort of cream with jam on it. That's very good, but not very Dutch. There may be Dutch things that I haven't tried before myself, but I did expect a little bit more Dutch things. This was similar when I went to Brazil, to like this little Dutch town in Brazil, and it was much smaller than this, of course, because they didn't have the same funds, of course. Here we get to some whole berries. They have like a whole blueberry. As you can see here, they have this facade blocked off so you can't see the air conditioning. But air conditioning isn't a very Dutch thing, because in Europe, most of the time, people don't have air conditioning. And that's not because we don't ever need it. We do for most of the time only a few days a year. But Europeans apparently are just too stubborn to get them. Because air conditioning is so common here, they have all these little wooden fences obscuring the air conditioning units so you don't see them, so they don't ruin the view. And here you have an ice cream shop, I suppose. Here another hamburger place. You see a little tourist boat docking, and this one goes through the canals, and you can kind of see the whole fake city. I don't know what this is supposed to be, but it's some kind of display. This building looks nice too. Here, custom ice cream you can make here in an ice cream factory, but she's closing it up. Over here you have a little bridge thingy. So here we have a shipyard mainly for recreational sailboats. But that's still a very Dutch thing. Like in the Netherlands you have that too, and you have it a lot. And it looks just like this. And I would say that even this is still quite authentic. Very Dutch. I don't know how much they intended it to be as such, but it is. And here you can walk along the back end of these buildings. I don't think there's much to see on this side though. Here we have Hotel Amsterdam, and we have the 3 crosses, which is part of the flag of Amsterdam. This shield is the flag of Amsterdam. And through here we can get to the back. I don't know if we're supposed to, but let's take a look. You have a little courtyard here. Nice. And here we have a very tall old bus. Kind of looks like the purple one in Harry Potter. But it says center in Dutch, Centrum. Here we have another gift shop, but all the buildings are lit up and it looks very nice. Here up there you have an extension of what I think is the restaurant. You can see through that window, and that window also has people inside. And I think maybe even some of the buildings here are also hotel rooms, because here this entrance it says Hotel Amsterdam, so Hotel Amsterdam. So these rooms, especially the ones with the lights on, there's people actually staying there, which is interesting. So it's not completely a fake dead town, and it doesn't go completely dead at night if people are staying here overnight. I don't know if they're allowed to go out and roam around the town though at night. It might be restricted there though, I'm not sure. Here I come to a very edge of the town. This is not where I entered, this is another side. Here we have another little bridge, and a bridge with a gate lock over here. One that I think actually works. Just like the exit, I suppose. I just kind of want to see if the water lock actually works. But it seems like the water level is the same on both sides. So I guess it isn't necessary, but it would be cool if it actually worked. Or it might just be lower over there, but I'm not sure, I can't quite see. But it looks like it should work. Like it looks like it has all the elements to work. So it seems like the point of this game is to catch fish. So here we have the fish in the water, which is kind of like a projector display. You see the big projectors up there, and here you have what you have to work with. I don't know how it works. I got a tiny one. It seems like the way you throw it does have some effect. Oh, so you can electrocute them with a thing. I didn't know you could do that. Yeah! Yeah, got him. Got that bad boy. I'm station 18. Okay, number 1. That's probably not me. Even the way that the arches of the bridge are lit up is something that we do sometimes have in the Netherlands as well. Here, people are trying to wait for the bus. Okay, let's try this. I have no idea what it is. I see a little orchestra thingy. What is it?
This space travel attraction.
Okay, so you see, like, you can see the universe. I don't know what we have here. So here, different alchemy bottles and fake flowers. And all these lit up different color potions. Very big fake flowers. It says naked flowers here. Okay, here. Garden of Reflection. Okay, so here we have a bunch of mirrors. So I can see myself here and here. I don't know if they change these around or if they stay the same the whole year around. But at least they spoke English here. Not every place they speak English, which is understandable. But it's always nice if they do. Especially if it's a town that's supposed to be the Netherlands, you know? They're not going to speak Dutch and at least speak English. And in the rest of Japan, the English ability isn't that great either. So it's always nice when you find someone that speaks it. Okay, it's a secret garden. Naked ink. Right now, it's on. And the lights are on. So that looks very nice. Let's see. We've got some VR stuff, which I probably won't be able to show on camera. Secure you.
This time, okay?
Ah. Now it feels like I'm going up. Okay, I guess I couldn't show any of that because it's VR, but it was kind of cool. Okay, so they're doing fireworks now. But I kind of need to go to make sure I don't miss my train. You see the boat that this little ferry service or whatever, like a little boat tour, and it's docking again. It goes from this side to the other side of the park. So that's kind of cool. The canal cruiser. Exit.
Enter only.
So that's only the entrance, so I have to walk around into that direction. Okay, I see people getting out here, so I should be able to exit here. It says Schiphol, which is the Dutch airport. It says exit, so that should be good. And there's like a souvenir shop. It seems like they're kind of selling the same stuff they were selling at the other place at the entrance. Oh, we have some Dutch cheese and the same cheesecake again. A lot of Japanese products, a lot of very Japanese stuff. Oh, here's some cheese and olives. I think I need one of my tickets to get out. Here we have a Lawson's, very Japanese. It's still in one of these Dutch style buildings, so that's cool. I think it's very well done. They did the buildings very well, but they could work a little bit on the food. The food isn't too Dutch. Here we have one of these vending machines outside. Kind of shows that we're in Japan. And here we have a family mart that shows us that we're in Japan. But we're not inside the park. Inside the park, they don't have those. But they still have only Japanese food. And Italian food, but no Dutch food. Which is kind of funny, but yeah. I guess our Dutch food wouldn't be the most popular. But I think if they did some authentic Dutch pancakes, they would do pretty good. And stroopwafels. I didn't really notice it when I left, but here, the train station is also in a Dutch style. Not as aggressively in a Dutch style, but it's also a little bit in a Dutch style, and it says Huis Ten Bosch station. So now, I need to go to Nagasaki.